Welcome back to TwoGunTerry and Friends. I'm TwoGunTerry, and this is my little love of my life over here, my little kitty Chippy girl. And today, we're going to talk about dry fire training. But first, Chippy, tell him, Chippy. Tell him. First, here's my intro.
Are you ready?
So what is dry fire training? Dry fire training is when you use your firearm to go through the motions of shooting, in our case, Steel Challenge, a Steel Challenge stage. You can use paper plates as targets. You can use paper and just cut them in the shape that you want, or leave them square, it doesn't matter. Or cardboard. Anything you have. You can put tape on the wall if you only have blue painter's tape or something like that. You can mark out targets on the wall. And you take your firearm and you move through the motions of shooting those targets. Or if you want, you can just practice your first shot, the draw, or reacting to a buzzer and coming up on target. And the best thing about dry fire training is it doesn't cost anything. Zero. You can do it anytime, anywhere, and you don't need money to do it. You do need some space, and you may have to do some math here to bring the stage to scale, if you will. So your target would be 3 1/3 inches at 10 feet if you're trying to mimic 10 inches at 30 feet. The less area you have to work with, the smaller you have to make the plates to make them more realistic when you're training on them. Whether it's raining, whether you just don't have the space outside, or you have neighbors that don't like when you shoot so close to them, blah, blah, blah. There's a million reasons why you should dry fire. Or, quite frankly, you can train so much more when it costs you nothing versus whatever we pay for rounds these days. So dry fire training does have a huge advantage. 30 minutes is about my max. But if you do it every day or 5 days a week, let's say, you will notice results. In fact, today I'm going to be training on real steel plates on a real size stage, Smoke and Hope. That's the stage I'm trying to get better at. I was dry fire training on it for 2 weeks, and my times have already come down 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds. So it does work. It definitely does work. So let's talk about how to dry fire train. Okay. First thing you're going to need is you're going to need a timer. If you don't have a timer, you can do it without a timer and just move your firearm through the plates, honestly stopping on each plate and seeing your sight on that plate. I use a red dot, so I make sure my dot stops on each plate. I pull the trigger. There's no ammo, of course, so nothing happens, but I pull the trigger and I move the firearm as quickly as I can through the targets. Honestly, I don't know why I'm giving air quotes, I mean underline, honestly hitting the plates, calling my shot. I'm looking through and I'm making sure I hit the plates when I do it. If I burn through my run and I miss some plates in there, I call them misses in my mind, and I throw that out of my brain and I do it again until I go 5 for 5. So the reason you need a timer, so the first thing you want to do is react to the timer. If you can get a jump on the timer for any string at all, in any match for that matter, if you can anticipate or react really quick to that timer, as soon as you hear that B and beep, as they say, as soon as you hear the B, if you can come up and get on target, that saves tenths of a second or more in some cases. And tenths of a second, I've talked about this before, you can save up to 3.1 seconds just by shaving 1/10 of a second off your draw. 1/10 of a second is 3 seconds in a match. 8 stages, 4 good strings per stage, except for outer limits, which is only 3. So 7 stages times 4 is 28, plus the 3 for outer limits, 31. 1/10 of a second times 31, 3.1 seconds. If you do 2 of those, 6 seconds a match. 2/10 reaction faster, 6 seconds a match. That's a lot of freaking time. Paying attention to that buzzer and getting your first shot off is the key to success in Steel Challenge, no matter what classification you are. Whether you're a D or a Grandmaster, it doesn't matter. Reacting to that buzzer and getting that first shot off is critical. All right, so we're going to use the timer to react. When we're dry firing, we're going to use the timer so that we can practice our reaction time. And at the same time, practice finding plate number 1. First shot, bink, or draw, bink. I set my timer up to go off randomly. I find that 6 to 8 seconds is enough to hit the buzzer, get my feet set, find my firearm, go up once or twice at the target, and then get into my ready stance. And by then the buzzer's 6 seconds later, ready to go off, beep, and I go through the stage. So that's called random, and they have a start time and an end time for your random range of when the buzzer will sound. The other thing a timer has is called a par time. A par time is a second buzzer that goes off after the first one. A period of time that I set for the second buzz to go off. I press the button on the timer. That gives me my 6 to 8 seconds to get ready. Beep, I come up, boom, 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 beep. The second buzzer goes off. I usually, for Smoke and Hope, I'm practicing Smoke and Hope right now, and I set my par time for 1.7 seconds. That forces me to go through all 5 targets as quickly as I can. Honestly, making sure I see and hit the target. I'm attempting to hit the target for real, and finish to the stop plate and get that last shot off before the second buzzer goes off, before 1.7 seconds. That's what a par time is. So let me show you what it looks like on the timer itself. Before I show you the timer, I wanted to show you a little daddy and kitty time. Chippy girl, a little daddy and kitty time. All right, so here's my shot timer. I'm going to do my best to show this to you. And there's a couple of buttons here. Menu up, menu down, turn it on, make different setting changes, up and down, and those are the buttons I'm going to be using to set the timer. So first button I'm going to push is menu. And you can see the par time there is set to 180. We'll leave it at 180 for now. But if I wanted to, I could push the buttons and I could go up higher, up and down, or I can go down lower. Do it at 180 for now. The next thing I'm looking at is the start delay type. And there's either instant, where you push the timer button and it goes off, or it can be set to random, which is what I use for practicing. Instant for a match, or if I have somebody to hold the timer, random when I'm by myself. The next setting is the random start time, and there you can see my minimum is 6.1 seconds. That was because I was lazy. There it is, 6 seconds. And if I go to the next screen, it says random start time maximum. So the last one was the minimum, this one's the maximum. And we'll bring this up to 8 seconds. And we're all set. So with the timer set like that, this is what it sounds like. Here, I'm going to push the start button on the side. Now somewhere between 6 and 8 seconds will be the first beep, and then 1.7 seconds later, or 1.8 seconds later, is the second beep. That's how we train with dry firing on targets. The other thing I have today is I bought a new toy. a camera that you kind of wear over here. Kind of looks like special operations, spec ops as they call it. When I put the hat and the earmuffs and the glasses, it kind of gets in the way, but I've been experimenting with it. It gives you, the viewer, lets you see the same thing that I'm seeing and how fast we're actually going through these targets. All right, so here we are out in my backyard, and you can see I have a real stage here. It's called Smoke and Hope. In Steel Challenge, it's called Smoke and Hope. It's made up of 4 18 by 24 inch plates and a 12-inch stop plate. The outside targets are 7 yards away from the shooter's box, which I have here painted on the ground. The inside plates are 9 yards from the shooter's box, and that stop plate is a 12-inch round at 15 yards, so 45 feet away from the shooter's box. Let me show you what this looks like from the side view. So here's a side view of Smoke and Hope, and the 7-yard plates are to the right of this screen. The 9-yard plates are pretty much right in front of us, and that 12-inch stop plate at 15 yards or 45 feet, you can see how much further back it is from the rest of the stage. That's a much harder shot than these real giant targets up close. That's why shooting that target gives people such fits, because you really got to focus and take a good look at that one. 15 yards is 45 feet from the shooter's box. That's a long ways. All right, let's go back. So for my training today, I'm going to use my rifle, my 22 rimfire open rifle. Open because it has a red dot and a compensator. I call it my Franken rifle. You've seen this before. Today, I'm just going to go through and move through the targets, making sure I see my red dot on each target and stopping on each target. That's the key. Being honest with yourself and with your training, so that when you do finally go out and live fire, you'll have the same or similar result. So I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now, and I shot a match over the weekend, last weekend, and I did shoot Smoke and Hope much better. It was a high 792 or something like that, which I haven't had a 7 in a long time, so it felt really good. But I was lucky enough to get out there a day early and do a little practice live firing on Smoke and Hope, and the first 5 or 6 strings were flawless, and then all of a sudden everything fell apart. I started missing everything. So you got to make sure you're honest in your training, and your expectations when you get to the match are realistic. All right, my rifle's ready to go, the camera's ready to go. Let's give it a try. I'm going to check my timer. So first buzzer 6 to 8 seconds, second buzzer 1.8 seconds. Within that 1.8 seconds, I want to move my rifle through all 5 targets, making sure my dot sees each one, and then I'm stopping on each one, pulling the trigger on each one, and beating the timer to the stop plate before 1.8 seconds. I'm just going to take a couple of practice ones just to see my targets like I would in real life. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, 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 bing. Okay, that feels pretty good. All right, here we go. I just hit my timer. All right, I beat the timer, but I'm not sure I was on target, so let's do it again. Focus. Oh, that wasn't too bad. One more time. I tell myself focus just before I shoot. Focus. Oh, that was beautiful. That was a nice one. Let's try it again. Okay, another good one. And you can see that I'm getting there before the second beep. So I am going to bump it back to 1.7. Doesn't sound like a lot of time, but okay, now it's set for 1.7 seconds. Let's try that again. And this is all it is. This is all dry firing is. Okay, got that in 1.7. Felt good. I'll do it again. Okay. Those feel pretty good. I was getting there in 1.7 seconds, no problem, maybe even 1.6 seconds. The purpose of dry firing, I'm trying to train on a couple of different things. First thing is reacting to the buzzer. Beep, gun comes up. Beep, coming up hopefully as the beep is still going. Beep. That's number one, training on that. Number two, stopping right on my first plate when I do come up, right on target. Beep, right on target. Beep, right on target. I don't have to do any thinking. Beep, boom, first shot's off, half a second or less. From the time that you react to the buzzer to your first shot, it's already hit the plate, half a second or less. That's what we're trying for. The next thing that I'm doing is moving the gun realistically through the targets, all 5 targets, as fast as I can, and faster than I normally do. The whole point is to see the targets, see your sight on the targets faster than you have been. So bing, 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 bing. You want to see the targets faster, faster, faster. Keep pushing yourself to see the targets faster. The faster you see the targets, when you get to a match, you can slow down a wee bit if you have to, or go at that speed if you're feeling good, or you can slow down just a little bit, and maybe instead of getting 1.7s, you'll get 1.9s, but it'll look like you're going in slow motion. You'll feel like you're going in slow motion, because believe it or not, that difference in time is huge when you're moving through these stages. Now, by the way, I'm a grandmaster. I'm not a grandmaster on Smoke and Hope. That's why I keep practicing it all the time, because I got to get this stage fixed, so that I can be competitive with everybody else. And I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep shooting this thing until I do become competitive. I want to shoot in matches regularly, 1.6s, 1.7s all day long. All day long. But if you're not a grandmaster, don't worry about it. If it takes you 3 seconds to get through the stage, then you set your par time at 2.8 seconds or 2.5 seconds and challenge yourself to catch up to that timer. Move quickly enough to beat the timer. That's what you're doing. You're shooting against the timer. You're trying to beat that second buzzer. That's the whole point to using a par time and dry firing. The other thing, and the main thing that I'm doing when I'm moving through the targets, A, I'm moving fast, yes, but B, I am making sure I see my sight on the plate when I pull the trigger, calling my shot. You must be on target when you pull the trigger. In real life, if you're not on target, bullet's going to miss the plate. And that's not the object here. You don't want to train bad habits. You want to train good habits. If you're trying to go at 1.8 seconds and you can't keep up with it, then back it up to 2 seconds, 2.2 seconds, whatever time works for you. And then you bring it down slowly but surely. I do this every day religiously. I try not to miss any days, but I never use the excuse, I don't feel like it. I force myself to do it. Don't get me wrong, some days I don't feel like it, and then I force myself to do it. And I do feel great for doing it. Don't make an excuse not to come and train. Do whatever you can to get out there as often as you can. If you want to do it 5 days a week and take the weekend off, fine. Whatever works for you. But as long as you're doing it consistently, multiple times a week, 15 to 30 minutes, that's all, you're going to be a better shooter because of it. TwoGunTerry saying thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you out at the range. Take care now. Bye. I'm going to get back to training. There we go. That was better. That's all I have for now. Thank you for stopping by. And remember to like, subscribe, and do what?
Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you.
Anchor it.
Two gun!
She's like, who the heck is he talking to? Why is he talking just to the wall? Oh, he doesn't. Talking to the air. She's a cat. What the hell does she know?